Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Atiqah Hanim Ahmad Nordin. I'm a master's student at UiTM Kelantan and currently pursuing my master in science business management. So today I will be sharing about my research findings titled Consumer Payment Behavior in Digital Payment, a Systematic Literature Review. Okay, nowadays, we all know that many people use digital payment methods like QR codes, e-wallets, and so on. So based on the diagram that I attach here, we can see that mobile banking have rise rapidly compared to ATM for the withdrawal money. So because of why? Because many people prefer faster way, contactless, and cashless ways to pay for the goods or services. So actually my study look at how people use the digital payments and what other factors influence this behavior. For the methodology, I use systematic literature review as an art method and I follows the Prisma guidelines. This is for the accurate and transparent review. I also focus only on articles from the Scopus database, which is published between 2015 until 2025. And of course, because I follow the Prisma guidelines, I need to use inclusion and exclusion criteria, which is the first step for the inclusion criteria. I look at the keywords from the abstract that related to the digital payment, mobile payment, consumer behavior, and financial inclusion. And I also make the scope become small, which is I just look at the relevant articles from 2021 until 2025. And of course, all the articles I just select the articles wholly written in English. For the exclusions criteria, from the scopus, I use the automatic remove 30 keywords, which is consists of marketing, major clinical study, mobile health, NFC, pandemic, satisfaction, social media, sustainable development, digital health, and so on. And I also exclude the articles here from the 2016 until the 2020. For the because I use the systematic literature review, and of course I come up with the five research questions, which is the first one is I look at the which journal is the most significant publication for consumer payment behavior towards the digital payment. RQ2, what theory adoption approaches are used the most often for consumer payment behavior in digital payment? And the RQ3, what are the factors or construct that most influence consumer payment behavior in digital payment? Next, for the RQ4, I look at what are the recommendation factors are proposed for consumer payment behavior in digital payment. And the last one for the research questions, I look at what are the most respondents in consumer payment behavior that have been discussed in publications. Okay, next for data collection process, this is actually after filtering. Okay, after the filtering, around 500 plus articles, only selected 50 scopes in the articles for my final review, which is we can see that from the pie chart, Q1 journals contribute 52%. Okay, included titles such as Electronic Commerce Research, International Journal of Bank Marketing, and Journal from Technological Forecasting and Social Change. For the Q2 journals contribute 28%, which is from Journal of Risk and Financial Management, and the Q3 journals 10% included journals like International Journal of Electronic Finance and Investment Management and Financial Innovations. Okay, for the analysis and evaluation, actually, I look at the five perspective. Okay, for the first one, I look at methodological quality, which is Sidaway, Wood, Hedges have said that every study was evaluated according to its sample size, data collection strategies, analysis methodologies, and research style, such as qualitative, mixed method, or quantitative. So actually, this strategy improves the findings, dependability, and guarantees methodological transparency. And the second is I look at the theoretical grounding, which is I examine whether the conceptual framework employed supports the interpretation of consumer behavior in digital and mobile payments by applying well-known theories or models. And the third one, I look at the validity and reliability of findings, where the results were actually evaluated for consistency and relevance to the actual consumer behavior, as well as for the presentation clarity and whether they were statistically or thematically validated. Next, I look at the topical relevance because of Kitchen Ham said that the research thematic alignment with these reviews main subject was given particular consideration. It is to ensure the thematic consistency articles that assuming institutional infrastructure or site concerns that had no direct bearing on the payment behavior of specific customers were excluded. And the last one, I look at the contribution to the research objective, where every article that was chosen was examined for its contribution to the knowledge of consumer trends, difficulties, and behavioral patterns in the use of digital and mobile payment. So actually, this stage is very essential for locating the research gaps, new themes, and conceptual overlaps in the entire body of existing literature. So next for the findings, because of I use SLR method, so of course I use Prisma guideline, and this is a Prisma flowchart. We can see that the first stage of identifications, I got 529 articles because of I key in the keywords from the scopus mobile payment and digital payment. That's why I got 529 articles. But after I key in the um, excluded automatic keywords such as I mentioned just now, the marketing, NFC, pandemic, overall is 30. So for the second stage in screening, I got 499, but I make the scope become smaller. So I excluded with the no related teams, and then overall I got 131. But 131, I screening more details such as I excluded by the year, excluded zero cited, and also I excluded with the full text that cannot access. So overall, I got 50 article studies that I can include in my studies. Cool. So next, move on to the result and discussion. This is actually to answer the research question just now. For the RQ1, I look at the significant journal publications, such as the diagram that I attach here. This is actually the summary of distribution studies paper from 2021 until 2025. So actually, these papers uh, look at how the consumer behave when using the digital payments. This is only consists of 50 articles that I selected. The articles I selected the five most journals. Actually, I identify five most journals that have more than one article published in the area of research, such as electronic commerce research, International Journal of Bank Marketing, and so on. Okay, next for the RQ2, I look at the most theory adoption approach. And of course, after we look at the diagram, we all know that thumb and UTAU theory adoption is very the most. Of course, the thumb is the most because this has been widely used in studies because it is assuming how the financial goods and services are accepted and they use. Okay, for the RQ3, I look at the factors that construct that most influence consumer payment behavior in digital payments. I make I made the summary that all of these factors actually influence the consumer payment behavior, such as perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness, trust, security and privacy, social influence, compatibility, and others. Next, for the answer RQ4, RQ4 it is proposed theory improvement for consumer behavior in digital payment. So also among the 50 articles, I come up with the theory improvement from the researchers, which is the researchers suggest that first one is extended the term, the second is extended the UTAU 2. And then the third is integration of thumb with the trust theory. And the fourth suggests that thumb with the innovation diffusion theory. And the last one is TPB with the thumb. So all of these are proposed by the researchers among the 50 articles. Okay, next for the last to answer the research question is I look at the most respondents on consumer payment behavior following by the categories. So as I mentioned just now, I got 50 articles that are included. So I found out that 41 publication actually I success to categorize into specific consumer groups such as 15 such as the consumers or general user contributes 15 publications, followed by youth, 7 contribution publications, and women, 2 publications. So among of these, we know that the most frequently studied group was the general consumers, followed by the youth segment, including Gen Y and Gen Z. Okay, for the conclusion, I can conclude that digital payment system actually significantly change how people make purchases, goods or services, offering more convenience, speed, and service integration. Also, the review of 50 articles show that the most studies focus on general consumers and younger generation. Okay, and then we all know that the TAM and the UTAL were very most influential frameworks used, and also we found out that key influencing factors identified included trust, perceived ease of use, social influence, and financial literacy. Okay, so also for the conclusion, we can come up with the emerging model suggested by the researchers by improving the existing theories by combining the TAM with the TPB, theory of planned behavior. So the integrated model actually add the behavioral elements such as subjective norms, attitude, and perceived behavioral control. So, last but not least, the future research can explore more in new consumer segments and theory integration, patterns in methodology, and thematic focus. So overall, lastly, this review actually contributes to advancing the theory and practice in digital financial behavior by mapping the evolving landscape. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you.